Okay, this is Zubaer's Money Quiz Part 2. There was a Part 1. You don't need to have played it to see it. Movin hasn't played it, for example. We're starting round 2. You missed all the round 1 questions, but what can we do? Question 1 for Jing. In 1978, after she was passed over yet again for the Nobel Prize, one paper wrote, "Few living economists have made contributions of the depth and breadth of this Cambridge scholar." It also claimed that she was repeatedly denied because of her outspokenness, her eccentricity, and her socialist beliefs. She is now remembered for her many contributions to completion theory, Marxist economics, Keynesian economics, etc. She also taught future Nobel winners Amartya Sen and Joseph Stiglitz. Who was she?
I'll just guess it's Smith.
Not Smith. Shubham? Owen?
I have no idea, man. Sorry.
Pravin?
Robinson.
Robinson is right. Look at Pravin, man. Shit.
Yeah. So basically, one of her famous lines is, being exploited by a capitalist is a bad thing. But what is worse is not being exploited at all. I mean, if you have no job, imagine if you have no job.
Begovian.
That's nice.
Question for Jing. Over 2000 years ago, knife money, that is commodity money made of bronze and shaped like large kitchen knives, was produced in this country. Around the same time, spade money or commodity money in the shape of spades also developed in another part of the same country. Can you name the country?
Egypt.
Not Egypt, Shiva.
India.
Not India. Good guess. Moment.
China?
China is right.
Oh, damn. I didn't know.
I saw that coming. I saw it happening and I thought, oh, poor thing. Because there's really not much in the question, but
So Mr. China catching another case earlier.
I think Jing didn't want to be seen as ultra nationalist or something.
No, but I really didn't know it.
It's a tough question, and I could see what was happening. So.
I thought of it China, but I wasn't sure at all. So
Yeah.
Question. It should be noted that Shubham still attempted in India. Okay, so it's like it's possible you can. Question for Shubham. In 2006, hedge fund manager Ken Griffin won an artwork titled "False Start" for $80 million, making it the most expensive artwork by a living artist. 4 years later, another hedgie, Stephen Cohen, bought an artwork titled "Flag" for $110 million, setting the new record. The record still stands. Who is the artist behind both works? I think I know this.
Bill Gates?
No, I do not know this. Sorry, say again. Shubham, you gave me an answer, I think.
Yeah. Bill Gates. Is this Bill Gates?
Not that, Jing.
Jasper Jones.
Very well done. How do you know that?
Yeah, the US flags.
Flag.
Yeah, that one is a famous one.
Yeah, he's known for his flags. That one. Pretty sure.
Not this guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, this guy. All right. Yeah.
Yes. Question for Shubham. This word derives from that word meaning white strings of shell beads. It is a good description of the strings of beads that were made from whelk shells and quaho clams. Before European contact, these strings were used by native peoples for storytelling, record-keeping, ceremonial gifts, and a means of exchange. The first colonists saw it primarily as currency and adopted it themselves. Between 1637 and 1661, they were legal tender in New England. What is their Native American name?
Us.
Pass, Mr. Mohan.
Wampuns.
Say again, please.
Wampuns.
Wampums is what I have.
Yeah.
Question for Owen. This European country has the world's second richest sovereign wealth fund. If the current holdings of the fund were evenly distributed, every household would immediately receive $500,000. If one is just a handful of nations that have successfully managed to sidestep the recourse, it is one of just a handful of nations that have successfully managed to sidestep the resource curse. What country is this?
I know the one. Probably I'll go with Norway.
It is a good guess. It is Norway.
Oh, nice.
It's a oil emirate in the Europe.
Yeah.
Question for Movin. Although a trained economist, Dr. Mohammad Yunus won the Nobel Prize in Peace for managing the concepts of microcredit and microfinance. It was in 1976 that Yunus first set up an organization in a village outside Chittagong to put his ideas into practice. That organization now operates in 3 continents. What is its name?
It's called the Grameen Bank.
That's correct. This is Grameen Bank or the Grameen Foundation. Question for Pravin. This 2-word phrase summarized a political ideology in the 1990s advocated by Mahathir Mohamad and Lee Kuan Yew. It defined common elements of East Asian societies that had undergone an economic boom in the previous 20 years. It prioritized ideals like collectivism and social harmony, in contrast to so-called Western ideals of individual liberty and universal human rights. Criticized by Amartya Sen among others, the concept fell into disuse after the 1997 Asian financial crisis. What was the phrase? I'll give everybody a free shot for this. So everybody just take a guess.
I'll try Bhumiputra.
Not Bhumiputra, sure.
2-word phrase, huh?
Benevolent dictatorships.
Not that. Jing?
Oh, I was thinking the exact same thing. Pass.
It's a free guess. You want to try something else? I think I
Uh,
gave Shubham wrong.
Can't think of anything else.
Okay. We'll pass
Yes,
Movin.
pass.
Free guess, right? I'll
Yeah.
just take crony capitalism.
It's not that. This is simply Asian values.
Oh, that's
Tough thing to get. Question for Pravin.
Nice question.
The Italian corporate Barilla sponsored AS Roma's football jersey for 13 seasons and 573 games. Some of their most famous players are seen here in the Barilla shirt: Falcao, Waller, and Bonek. Even the young Francisco Totti got to play his first couple of seasons in this iconic strip. Barilla is the world's largest producer of what? I'm pretty
Pasta.
sure. Pasta is right.
Very common in the supermarket here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've bought this at some point. Question for Jing. John Steinbeck's novel The Grapes of Wrath is a defining work of the Great Depression. It describes the mass migration of poor tenant farmers to California, escaping drought and hardship and bank foreclosures in their home state. What was the derogatory slang word used to describe these migrants deriving from that state?
Oh no, pass.
Sure.
Pass.
Was it Pravin?
Okies.
Okies is right. They're from Oklahoma and the term is Okies. Well done. Question for Jing again. Following the 1969 race riots, Malaysia instituted a new economic policy in the 1970s. A key aim was to improve the socio-economic condition of the ethnic Malay majority through a program of affirmative action in education, business, and the public sector. Although this policy was seen as discriminatory against other ethnic groups, it has been credited with the rise of a large Malay middle class. What is the term derived from 2 Sanskrit words used to describe the ethnic Malay under this policy?
I don't think I will get these Sanskrit words. Pass.
Shubham,
Malay Putras.
say again, please.
Malay Putras.
Not that, unfortunately. Movin.
I'm sitting here in Malaysia and suffering this every day. So I'll say Bhumiputra.
Bhumiputra is correct this time.
My previous answer. Yeah.
Oh,
Question for Shubham. George Bailey is the protagonist in Frank Capra's 1946 classic It's a Wonderful Life. James Stewart, who fought with distinction in World War II, made his re-entry into Hollywood with his iconic portrayal of a small-town everyman, a role for which he is still beloved and remembered. In the film, what is the profession of George Bailey? I will remind you, this is a money quiz.
Economist.
Say again, please.
Economist. Economist.
Not an economist. Jing.
banker.
Banker is right. Question for Shubham. This Japanese word describes a group of companies with interlocking business relationships and shareholdings akin to a loosely organized business alliance. This system dominated the Japanese economy all through its post-war boom phase. The examples are Sanma, Sumitomo, Mitsubishi, and Mitsui. What is the Japanese word?
Pass.
Yeah.
Mr. Pravin?
Why do you practice pass so soon? Anyway,
You can take time if you think you might get it. It's fine.
yeah. I know the Korean word, so I'm just thinking, what is the Japanese word? For conglomerate, it is. All right.
Answer please.
Kairetsu.
It is correct. This is correct.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah. Shayball was the other word. Yeah.
Saibatsu is not the right word, but and it has a top-down hierarchy structure. But you get a prompt on it. Kairetsu is the right answer. And you got that. Perfect. Question for Movin. In 2019, Le Monde published a feature on the incredible success of French economists in the US. It noted the prominence of French economists in current debates about income inequality. Example: Emmanuel Saez and Gabriel Zucman of Berkeley, and Thomas Philippon of NYU. The most famous of these names has broken through into popular discourse thanks to his 700-page bestseller on inequality. Its central thesis is often summarized in the equation R is greater than G. Name the famous Frenchman.
Wait. I have time. Yeah, Piketty.
Is correct. What is R greater than G?
Basically, the rate of rent you can get is greater than the growth in the economy. So if you basically, his whole idea is that all the money in the world is basically because of inheritance, which is bullshit. Anyway.
Okay. Oh, is this a Brief History of Equality? That's the bestseller?
No.
Okay.
The Capital in the 21st Century. That's the
Okay,
best.
okay.
Yeah, that is the old one. Yeah. It's
Okay.
the most bought and unread book, I think.
What? Oh yeah, here it is. Rate of return is
In
greater than
the
the rate of
financial
economic
world,
growth over the
because
long term.
there is
There is Salman Rushdie's book also, which is Midnight Children after 15 page.
Okay,
Nobody
question for a
reads.
moment. Post-war Hungary suffered the worst case of hyperinflation in history. At its worst, prices were rising 150,000% every day. It was at this time that the world record denomination for a currency was issued, the Millard blank, aka the billion trillion blank. What was the 5-letter name of the currency that was abolished and replaced by the forint in 1946?
oh. I'll just say dinar.
It's not dinar, Shubham.
Frank.
Say again, please.
Frank.
Not franc, Jing.
Pass.
Sorry.
I think it's Pengo or Pengu, one of those.
Go is right. What is this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's the name of a currency.
Okay, okay.
One-
Nice. Question for Pravin. 2 Indians have served as chief economist of the IMF. One was the inaugural winner of the Fisher-Black Prize, the biennial prize given by the American Finance Association to the best financial economist under 40. The other recently stepped down from the post of chief economist and was then replaced by their former PhD advisor at Princeton. You can name either. And in fact, I will insist that if you know the one that I know, which is the more famous one, then I will make you name the other one.
What logic is this?
I feel like you need to know more than me is my threshold. My threshold is something you need to cross that.
I'll say one of them is obviously Raghuram Rajan.
Who's the other one?
I'll say name either. So he's the Fisher Black guy, right? The other recently stepped down. Oh, the other is Geeta Gopinath, right?
He is absolutely right. No matter what I do, Pravin cannot be stopped. It is Raghuram Rajan and Geeta Gopinath,
No,
the PhD advisor.
Yeah, I didn't know that part. Yeah.
Nice. Question for Pravin. This architect designed the Tokyo International Forum, the Chicago Booth School, and 432 Park Avenue, the pencil skyscraper that is home to the rich and the famous. His office tower in London, the Walkie Talkie, won the Carbuncle Prize for worst new building in the UK. Its glass facade acted as a concave mirror and created intense heat at street level, melting a parked car during construction in 2013. The problem was solved by hanging up awnings. Who is this errant architect?
Wow. Okay, what a fact.
Is it Renzo Piano?
It's not Renzo Piano. Jing?
Pass.
Sure. Shubham?
Pass.
Passes to Movin.
Forgot it. Pass.
His name is
Normal
Rafael
first.
Vinoli.
Oh,
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't know this.
okay. No.
I
Yeah,
heard the funda
never heard
before,
of
but
it.
never heard the name. So.
I knew the funda, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not won a Pritzker, fortunately. So that's why I don't know him, I think.
Question for Jing. He was a member of the Bloomsbury Group and counted Lytton Strachey, E.M. Foster, Virginia Woolf among his close friends. He was married to a star of the Diaghilev Ballet Company. He was nearly bankrupted by the 29 market crash, although his fortunes eventually recovered. He has been called the most important economist of the 20th century. Who was he?
John Maynard Keynes.
Question is for Jing.
Oh, sorry.
Jing,
Yeah,
up to
you
you
can
if you
give me
want to
an
use that or not.
I wasn't thinking of that anyway. I was thinking
Take it.
Friedman.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Jing, it's up to you if you want to attempt that or not.
Yeah, just go with my original guess, Friedman.
Not Friedman. Sure.
Pass.
Pass it to Movin.
I don't know what to do now because I was debating.
You're welcome to take it. The less we discuss, the better. Movin, what is
Yeah,
your
okay,
answer?
I'll pass it.
Pass it, Pravin.
Oh, sorry. I'll take Keynes, thankfully. So this guy's marriage was a sham. It was a marriage of convenience. He was a homosexual.
Oh.
I was debating between this guy and Galbraith. So anyway.
Question for Jing. This Korean term literally means a rich family or financial clique and shares common linguistic roots with the Japanese zaibatsu. It describes a large industrial conglomerate run and controlled by an individual or family. Samsung, Hyundai, and LG are the most prominent examples, but there are several dozen Korean conglomerates that fall under this term. What term? Jing, you've already refused one answer that Pravin gave you. So,
Take it.
for this one, do you remember what he said?
Not really. Oh.
Ooh, 10 seconds.
Yeah, just guess something. Hookah.
Not that, Shubham.
Pass.
Movin.
Okay, ball.
Yeah, ball is right.
Yeah, usually I can't remember people's guesses if I didn't know it already.
Question for Shubham. During the Angela Merkel years, this two-word phrase became the biggest symbol of Germany's obsession with balanced budgets. Even the constitution was amended in 2009 to make it harder to run budget deficits. Some have noted that the German word for debt is the same word for guilt. Seriously? What? Oh, wow. Okay.
Apparently, yeah.
Post-Merkelist orthodoxy is finished, and Germany is now running large deficits, in part to pay for its higher defense spending. What was that two-word phrase that defined the old order? Such a beautiful question.
Pass.
Passes to Jing.
Pass.
I'm going to go back 1 second. Free guess to everybody. Shubham, you had a free guess anyway. Do you want to try again?
I got like literally nothing. That's right. No idea.
Jing, free guess.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. Free market.
All right. Owen.
I know the concept. It's called zero-based budgeting. So I know that
It's not the two-word phrase though. Do you want to try the two-word phrase?
zero is the deficit.
Not that. Pravin.
Should something rhyming with it. Anyway.
Not that. It's what you see in the image. It's
Zero.
black
what?
zero. Black zero.
Oh,
Black
oh,
zero.
okay.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
It's also called
Buzz.
zero-based budgeting, right? It's
I
also
don't know.
called-
I don't know enough to give points for that. Sorry.
Yeah, so basically there's no deficit. Don't carry over deficit.
Shubham. This economic corridor, also called Manchester to Milan, stretches from the north of England through Western Europe down to the wealthy northern part of Italy. Because of the concentration of both European wealth and population that falls within this corridor, it is of great interest to certain sectors of the economy, such as logistics, transportation, and retail. What is its popular name? I'm tempted to give free guess again.
Boomerang corridor.
Not that? Jing?
Are we doing free guess or not?
Probably shouldn't 2 questions in a row, so let's not.
Okay, then pass. Don't know.
Passes to Movin.
The banana corridor.
I can prompt you. Use the image if you can.
What was your okay?
He
All
said
right.
he
Okay.
said banana
Okay.
corridor, and I'm saying use
Okay,
the
okay.
image.
Okay. All right.
Sausage corridor.
Not that. Pravin,
I might as well guess boomerang corridor.
not boomerang corridor. So the reason Movin
Yeah.
got a prompt is because it is banana. One word is banana, but use the image something banana.
A crooked banana.
No, it's blue banana.
Bent banana, blue banana. Okay.
Sorry guys,
Yeah.
banana should
Yeah,
have
no problem.
been enough. Question for Movin. The anti-slavery novel Uncle Tom's Cabin is a noted example of fiction that contributed to socioeconomic change. The same year it came out, a short story cycle came out in Tsarist Russia titled A Sportsman's Sketches. Highlighting the woeful condition of rural serfs, the book is said to have played a key role in the eventual abolition of serfdom in 1861. Who wrote this landmark book?
The only name I can think of now is Leo Tolstoy.
Not that guy, Jing.
Turgenev.
Turgenev is nice.
It's actually a literature question.
Excellent. Question for Movin. This three-word term refers to an economic policy which advocates replacing foreign imports with domestic production. It is based on the idea that a country should pursue self-sufficiency by developing a wide range of local industries. Very prominent in development discussions in the 1950s and 60s, it was tried out in many parts of the world, notably Latin America, but it fell out of favor as the astonishing success of the export-based Asian tigers showed a better alternative. What was the term?
3-word.
There's one term called the flying geese model. I don't know if that is it.
It's not that. Shubham?
Pass.
Jing?
Pass.
Pravin?
Non-comp. But I don't have a 3-word term. I have a 2-word. Import substitution simply as
You've got the first two words. So it's ISI, import substituting industrialization.
okay.
It's not the most fun question we have on the set, but question probably. The financial crisis was notable for the outlandish words and deeds of many titans on Wall Street. Chuck Prince, CEO of Citigroup, compared the go-go years to a game of musical chairs. As long as the music is playing, you've got to get up and dance. John Thain, boss of Merrill Lynch, lavishly redecorated his office with a $87,000 rug, a $68,000 credenza, and another purchase of $1,500. What did he buy?
For the 1,500?
Yeah, I mean, this has to be a free guess. Yeah, everybody free guess.
Okay. What did he guess? Okay, I'll just say a chair, musical chair.
Not
so
a chair, Shubham. Good guess though, like fits in the question well.
Ferrari, Mercedes, some car.
For $1,500, no man. Jing?
Lamp.
Not a lamp.
A super
Movin?
expensive lamp.
Some kind of teacup.
Not a teacup.
Pen.
I was hoping somebody would get the. I mean, the only way this question can possibly answered is if you understand, like the gist of what he's saying is that he's throwing a lot of money at things that really aren't worth that kind of money. So this value is significantly lower than these. So you're looking for something that should cost way less than this.
Peanuts.
It's a trash can. But
Okay.
peanuts is a good guess though. Peanuts would have been like a nicely fitting answer.
Trash can. Wow,
Yeah.
nice question.
Trash can, yeah. Question for Pravin. This pioneer of pop art was greatly inspired by the work of Jasper Johns. Originally from Oklahoma, he moved to LA to study art. The visual symbols of post-war capitalism in Southern California form a major motif of his work. He is known for his art books such as 26 Gasoline Stations and the playful humor and graphic simplicity of paintings like Oof, Honk, and Boss. Who is he?
All right.
There's only one person I know in pop art, and it is not that guy.
I know this guy's first letter, and I'm trying to figure the other letters. Okay. Shit.
10 seconds.
I know it is wrong. Escher?
Not Escher. Sure.
Pass.
Okay.
Pass.
Over.
Since you're saying it's not the other guy, I'll pass.
It starts with E, right?
It doesn't start. I mean, the first name is Ed.
Ed. Okay.
And yeah.
And I
Russia.
can, yeah, Rusha.
Ed Rusha.
I can see why you thought Escher, because it's like it's got that.
Yeah,
thing.
Oh.
words are mixing in my head.
Happens,
Yeah.
happens. Okay, question
Ed
for
Rusha.
Jing. Corvée is a form of unpaid forced labor typically given for a fixed number of days each year. The term comes from medieval Europe, where vassals had to pay their landlord with such labor. But the use of corvée is common in history. The Incas built their famed public infrastructure through mandatory labor system called mita. When the Spaniards arrived, they imposed a much harsher system akin to slave labor in their American colonies. What was the Spanish system of forced labor called?
Pass.
Mr. Shubham?
Pass.
Movin?
I'll take a guess. This is indenture.
Not that. Good guess though, Pravin.
Encomienda.
Is correct. This quiz is like made for Pravin or something. Pravin, how do you know this?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I'm an economics buff, so I know it.
Nice.
Oh,
So I also did
nice,
very
nice.
well on Zubaer's
First one?
round one. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Oh, I was terrible on the first one.
Yeah, no surprises there.
I was very surprised that you can pull out that many questions from what seems like a restrictive topic, but really isn't once you clear the quiz. Okay, question for Jing. This ancient Sanskrit text disappeared from view for several centuries until a copy written on palm leaves was identified by the Mysore-based scholar Samasastri in 1905. Around 2000 years ago, it's considered to be one of the earliest treatises on statecraft, economic policy, and military strategy. Kautilya, also identified as Chanakya, is traditionally credited as the author in the text.
Pass.
Sure?
Arthashastra.
Correct. It is Arthashastra.
Finally, thank God, a non-zero score. Oh my
I
God.
I
I
was
was
getting
worried if this is a recording and
Exactly.
in the recording it's gonna appear a zero score, and I'm like, oh my God.
I was a little worried
Yeah,
as
it
well.
happens to me too. Yeah, sometimes I get my
I
first score like halfway.
I was worried that I had proposed recording this quiz, and then suddenly the quiz turns out to be this hard, especially for the hardest seat. So yeah, I'm glad this
Yeah.
happened. Question for sure. Gore Vidal said in 1962, she has a great attraction for simple people who are puzzled by organized society, who object to paying taxes, who dislike the welfare state, who feel guilt at the thought of the suffering of others, but who would like to harden their hearts. A major influence on modern day libertarianism, a recent biography of her came out with the title Mean Girl. Who was this ersatz philosopher? I'm happy to Google this if you want. Sure.
Pass.
Pass it to you.
You don't. Oh, okay. All right. You don't have to
Ayn
pass.
Rand.
Correct. Brilliant.
It is correct. I want to quickly look up the meaning of this.
Yeah, I don't know that word either.
It's
Inferior.
German for knockoff.
Knockoff.
Fake.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So they're roasting Ayn Rand over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Question for
When
sure.
when I was in college, that was compulsory reading.
Oh, really?
Was it?
Question
Peer
for-
pressure.
Mm.
Okay.
Question for Shubham. The study of asymmetric information deals with the challenges that arise when one party in a transaction has better information than the other party. An example may be health insurance, where the person buying the insurance may know more about the true state of their health than the insurer. 5 Nobels have been awarded for research in this field, including George Akerlof, whose 1970 paper The Market for Lemons was a seminal contribution. What do lemons refer to in this context? I don't care what the answer is, I love the question. Excellent answer, free guess to everybody.
No.
I saw a movie Cars 2 in which lemons referred to those broken down cars which required this constant maintenance or something to do with this.
It's
Yes.
absolutely right. It is used cars.
Oh,
What a great
nice.
guess, dude. Got from cars too. Shit.
Amazing.
Question for Movin. At the height of the Cold War, a generation of Latin American economists trained in the US, many other military treatment. When they returned home, they applied their free market doctrine of deregulation and privatization, mainly in General Pinochet's Chile, but also in Mexico, Argentina, and Brazil. By what collective name is this group of economists known? The name refers back to their alma mater.
I think they're called the Chicago School.
I think I'll give it to you. Chicago Boys is the name. Well done.
Chicago's, yeah.
Question for Movin. In The Wealth of Nations, Adam Smith explains how factory production can increase dramatically if each worker specializes in a single task, in his words, division of labor. He uses the famous example of a factory that makes a very specific kind of product. According to Smith, with proper division of labor, a factory of 10 workers could produce as many as 48,000 of these in a single day. What was the product?
Basically pins, paper clips kind of thing.
Pins, right?
It's
Question, Pravin. The Civil War of 1918 to 22 left Russia's economy in ruins. Realizing that he needed to be flexible, Lenin adopted a more market-oriented economic policy, slowing down nationalization, allowing large state firms to operate for profit, and even allowing small private enterprises to crop up. After Stalin came to power, he ended the program and returned to full central planning. What was the three-letter acronym for this short-lived policy? It is the same in English and Russian.
I don't know. Pass.
It's a direct, are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know anything.
Sure.
No clue. Pass.
Jing?
Pass.
Movin?
No idea.
The Russian term is Novaya Ekonomicheska Politika, so it's just new economic policy.
Oh,
Nep. Okay. Okay.
that was Malaysia's policy exactly under the Bhumiputra.
Question for Pravin. This fabled city in the southern Sahara was the terminus of the camel caravans that operated for millennia until national borders closed down the old trading routes in the 20th century. Starting off from the foothills of the Atlas Mountains, the caravans took around 52 days to reach their destination, a factoid that now appears in countless tourist souvenirs in Morocco. What was the caravan's destination?
Morocco.
Oh. 10 seconds.
It's from southern Sahara. I'll just say Timbuktu.
You are correct. It is Timbuktu.
Oh,
I don't know why Morocco is there. Anyway.
yeah, I thought it's somewhere in Morocco.
It just says 52 days to Morocco, to Timbuktu. Where is Timbuktu?
Hmm.
Where-
Mali. It's
Mali, Mali.
Mali.
Yeah.
Sub-Saharan Africa.
Question for Jing. Jeff Bezos' $500 million super yacht called Kuru finally had its first sea trials in February 2023. This boat caused controversy last year when the shipbuilding firm Ocean Co requested that a certain historic bridge be dismantled to allow the boat to sail through open water. At a height of 131 feet, the bridge would be too low for Kuru's masts. Citizens were furious at this request, and Ocean Co backed away. In which city was Kuru built?
San Francisco.
Not San Francisco.
Yes, yes.
Sure. Shubham, need an answer?
Pass. Pass.
Passes to Movin.
I vaguely remember this as Sydney.
It's not Sydney. Pravin?
No.
Pass.
Passes. It is roughly 100 kilometers away from where I am standing in this direction. It is Rotterdam.
Hmm.
Oh,
Uru.
Okay.
What is this bridge?
I forgot the name of the bridge, but it was just a big deal when it was happening because the yard was constructed
like-
somewhere and they had to go somewhere and they had to.
So it's a very old bridge.
It is a fairly old bridge. It's a bridge over a canal. Question for Jing. One of Bill Clinton's most controversial legacies is the repeal of this 1933 Banking Act. President Roosevelt passed it into law after the Great Crash of 1929. The aim was to install stronger market safeguards by isolating boring commercial banking from riskier activities in investment banking. Many have claimed that its repeal led to the surge in risk-taking behavior that resulted in the financial crisis. What is the popular name for this defunct bill, named after its two sponsors in 1933?
Shit.
Rockefeller and Carnegie.
It's a very rare, but no. So,
I saw this in the newsroom. This is glass T-ball something bill. Like even if the entire stock market was to burn to the ground, some of this, the basically the inner investments would stay intact. Glass T-ball or glass something bill. Help me out.
I need you to
Something.
repeat the two names again because I think you're saying one of them
Glass,
incorrectly. Glass.
glass is Steelberg or Steelberg or
Yeah. Okay.
something like that. Glass T.
I will need to call that wrong. Moment.
Glass-Steagall Act.
Say again.
Yeah,
Glass-Steagall Act.
Stiegel is it?
Steagall.
Stiegel.
Yeah, it was Steagall. Yeah, sorry.
Question for Shubham. This city in the far south of the Iberian Peninsula was established by adventurous Phoenician merchants 1,000 years before Christ. Some archaeologists believe it to be the oldest continuously inhabited population center in Western Europe. It is still an active center of shipping and fishing and also a destination for tourists. The name derives from the Phoenician word
Istanbul? Is this Istanbul?
meaning walled compound or stronghold with city. Let me check. It is not that, no. Jing.
Pass.
Sorry.
No, pass.
Mohan?
Alhambra.
Not that. This is a place called Cadiz. I don't know what that is.
Cadiz.
Cadiz,
Don't know
Cadiz, Cadiz.
Spain.
All right, yeah. Yeah, southwestern Spain. Yeah.
Question for Shubham. This German politician was a noted fiscal hawk, notorious for his austerity policies and for the harsh line he took towards Greece and the other pigs during the Eurozone crisis. A failed assassination attempt in 1990 left him paralyzed from the waist down. Operating from a wheelchair, he held some of the highest positions in German government during Angela Merkel's 16-year reign. Oh,
Pass.
passes to Jing.
Pass.
Pravin.
Pass.
Movin.
Pass. I used to know this.
His name is Wolfgang Schäuble.
Yeah.
Schäuble. All right, yeah.
I remembered Wolf. Then that is a different guy. Marcus Wolf is a spy master.
Yeah, Mischa Wolf. They called him Mischa Wolf in Fawcett's novels.
Arguments for and against the NAFTA trade deal flew fast and furious in the early 1990s. One worry was what would happen to well-paid jobs in the US once American companies moved their factories to Mexico. This Texan memorably described the impact as a giant sucking sound. A colorful businessman, he also invested in Steve Jobs' late 80s venture Next, as he was determined not to miss out like he had done earlier with Bill Gates' fledgling Microsoft. Who was he?
Oh, mine, huh?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take Ted Turner.
Not Ted Turner. Jing.
No?
Pass.
Shubham.
Pass.
Pravin.
Ross Perot.
Ross Perot is right.
Yeah, he ran for president also.
Yes,
He has
sir.
the highest votes as an independent, 15%.
This
And he
is
ran as a third.
I know about him because I used to watch the show called Whose Line Is It Anyway? And they had a song about embarrassing confessions from the audience members. And one of the confessions was, I voted for Ross Perot. Question for a moment. This best-selling book by Levitt and Dubner, I can stop here if you want, moment.
Economics.
Economics, right? Aim to apply economic thinking to a diverse range of non-traditional subjects, for example, economics of naming children. Its most controversial claim is that legalizing abortion in the US played a big role in reducing crime decades later. The book's success led to a multimedia franchise, including a film, blog, and podcast. What is the title of the original book? It is Economics. Question for Pravin. In 1985, the governor of Arkansas was looking for new ways to create economic opportunity for low-income people in his state. His wife's ex-roommate at Wellesley College had just returned from working for an NGO in Bangladesh and made the necessary introductions. Dr. Yunus of Grameen fame thus met the governor and later advised on the creation of the first microcredit program in Arkansas in 1988. Name the governor.
Governor of Arkansas should be Bill Clinton.
This Bill Clinton. Question for Pravin. Economic historians rarely make cover models, but this man showed up on the cover of New York Magazine in 2022. Not long ago, he was just a little-known academic. Now he's one among the world's most influential financial commentators, spawning a cottage industry of books, articles, op-eds, podcasts, media interviews, etc. His books on World War I, Germany, the Third Reich, and the financial crisis have won the Wilson History Prize and the Lionel Gelber Prize, among others. Who?
Economic historians. What is his name? Shit, I know his first name. Oh shit. I'll give the first name. It's Nial, Niall.
Nope, not what I have. Jing,
Okay. Someone
Pass.
else.
pass to Shubham,
Pass.
pass to Movin.
I'll pass because that was my guess as well, but you said it's not that.
No, what I have is Adam Tooze.
Okay.
No idea.
You can look him up quickly.
I have no idea who this guy is.
Nothing but nothing. I feel like
What is the surname of the Harvard professor? Neil what?
Ferguson.
Ferguson, yeah. Ascent of Money.
That's a wonderful book. But he's
Question
totally anti-Indian.
Question for Jing. The Micronesian island of Yap is known for a unique form of currency. These large stone discs are very difficult to move, so they remain in place. But when transactions occur using the stone money, their ownership changes hands by common consent. Famously, a stone that sank to the ocean floor in a storm remained valid currency due to the community's agreement. What is the local name for these stones?
Pass.
Pass, sure.
Chariot wheel.
Not that. Right?
Rai.
Rai stones is what
As-
they call.
Yeah. In Bombay Quiz Club used to tease Rajiv Rai as its own private island.
Question for Jing. This two-word term was coined by the economist in 1977 to describe the impact of the Groningen gas fields on the economy of a European country. It describes the situation where one particular sector of an economy flourishes, attracting large inflows of foreign currency and driving up the domestic exchange rate. The appreciation of the local currency in turn makes other sectors of the economy uncompetitive. What is the term?
Okay, nice one.
Ten seconds.
Pass.
Sure.
Pass.
Movin.
It's cleverly hidden the name of the country by saying Groningen. This is a Dutch disease.
That's correct. This is a Dutch disease.
Never heard of that.
Question for Shubham. His father was convicted of killing a priest in Beirut. He himself became known as a Lacoste killer, credited with turning around the fortunes of several ailing car companies. A celebrity in Japan, his life was turned into a manga comic book. But the most dramatic moment came when he hid himself in an audio equipment box and flew out of Osaka in a private jet in 2019. Who was this Brazilian-born ex-boss of Nissan who escaped from corruption charges in such a dramatic fashion?
Pass.
Jing?
Pass.
Sorry?
Carlos Ghosn.
That's correct.
Ghosn. Yeah.
Question for Shubham. This hill, aptly called Cerro Rico, is the richest source of silver in the entire history of mankind. Between the 16th and 18th centuries, its mine produced 80% of the world's silver, much of which was shipped straight to Spain by the galleon fleet. To date, some 60,000 tons of silver have been extracted from it, and a similar amount remains underground. The hill appears on the national coat of arms and is also known by the name that it shares with the city that grew up under it. What name? I remember now that I've seen this one done a different question, but this is some startling stats.
Spain.
Sure.
Basically, the Dutch disease also happened to Spain, basically.
Show me, you have an answer?
Pass. Pass.
Jing?
Pass.
Passes to Mohit.
Potosi.
Potosi, Bolivia. Question for Mohit. One result of China's recent economic boom has been the rise of eye-popping architecture in its urban centers. In 2014, President Xi criticized the weird buildings popping up everywhere, and in 2021, the state issued a ban on ugly architecture. Really? One of the boldest buildings from this period is the CCTV headquarters in Beijing, also known locally as the Giant Trousers. Which Pritzker Prize-winning architect designed this building?
I have no idea, but I will take a guess. Should know this, yeah.
Giant Trousers.
I'll just say Zaha Hadid.
Not that. Jing?
It's not.
Yeah, I only know it's a CCTV on giant trouser. I don't know the architect.
Yeah.
I guess it's Zhang.
Not that. Shubham?
Pass.
Pravin?
I might be wrong, but I'll take a guess. I am Pei.
Not that. The name doesn't sound particularly Chinese to me. I mean, I could
Yeah,
be
it's,
wrong.
No, it's not.
is there an Oscar something?
The first name is Rem, R-E-M, Rem.
Or Rem Koolhaas?
Ram Koolhaas.
Yeah, Dutch.
Yeah.
Oh, not Chinese.
Yeah.
Oh,
2000
that's
Pritzker, I think.
No, I knew it was not Chinese. I knew it was not Chinese. Ram Koolhaas.
the author of Delirious New York. Okay.
Mm.
Very
That's
old book.
supposed to be the manifesto for, yeah.
Retroactive Manifesto for Manhattan. Oh, okay. Cool. Founding of New Amsterdam. Ah, okay. I understand now. Okay, question for Movin. I was in the middle of a paper on migration. I gave Paul an outline of my thoughts. When he came back, he already had a finished paper and I could not change even a comma. So I gave him the read authorship. This Indian economist, also known for his work on trade theory, was one of Krugman's mentors at MIT. It is widely believed that he was stiffed out of a Nobel when Krugman won the Nobel on his own in 2008. When Krugman has said that his work deserved the Nobel. Who is he?
Oh. I don't know. Maybe Subramaniam Swami.
Not that.
Yes.
I have no idea.
Pass.
Sorry.
Pass.
Sure.
Pass.
Pravin?
Jagdish Bhagwati.
Correct.
Okay.
Question, Pravin. This 14th century Arab scholar is the best known among the medieval Islamic thinkers who wrote on economic theory. In the introduction or Muqaddimah of his History of the World, he discusses many economic concepts that are of contemporary relevance. Example, the sources of economic growth, rule of law and social cohesion, the theory of supply and demand, the labor of theory of value, and the multiplier effect of spending. Who was he?
Al-Ghazali.
Not that. Jing?
Pass.
Sure.
Pass.
Movin?
No, I pass. I know this, but I don't know.
His name is Ibn Khaldun.
Khaldun.
Okay, all right.
Khaldun.
Question for Praveen. Snappy soundbites were all the rage during the 1992 US election cycle. President Bush Sr. was mercilessly attacked for his promise that he had made in the previous cycle and subsequently broken. Read my lips, no new taxes. Bill Clinton had the perfect response to Bush's poor economic record, a short catchphrase thought up by his strategist James Carville, which still enjoys wide use today. What was the 4-word phrase?
Is the economy stupid?
That's correct. It's the economy, stupid. Okay, we're starting the final round. As it stands, there are 2 battles going on. There is Praveen and Movin for first place and Jing and Shubham for third place. 2 questions for each of you. Question for Jing. This European-born economist is often associated with right-wing conservatives and the libertarian movement. He once said of Keynes, a man with a great many ideas who knew very little economics. He also had a habit of making racially inflammatory comments against his South Asian students at the LSE and against African Americans. He featured in the famous rap battle against Keynes on YouTube, whose 2 episodes have racked up 13 million views till date. Who was he?
Try Friedman again.
No, that's Shubham.
Pass.
Pass to Movin.
Pass.
Pass is Praveen.
Friedrich Hayek.
Say again, please.
Hayek, H-A-Y-E-K. Friedrich Hayek.
So why not? It's
It is.
There's a one
He's
in
my
there.
intellectual hero. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It's a fake one. He was never
It's a
born
fake
as
one.
I mean, to sound Austrian, he just had to put that.
Really? Oh wow. Okay. A question for Jing. P.G. Woodhouse was a reluctant banker. His father's pension was paid in rupees, which had fallen sharply against the pound. And so the 18-year-old Woodhouse gave up his plans to study at Oxford and instead went to work in the city of London. After 2 years, he quit his banking career to become a full-time writer. Who was his employer for 2 years? One of the Smith stories, Smith in the City, is partly based on this episode of his life.
Penguin books.
Not Penguin Books. Sure.
Pass.
Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank. HSBC.
You're just trying to trouble me, I think, with Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank. You know that the answer is going to say
Oh.
HSBC. He's trying to test me. Question for sure. Observing the difference in living standards between rich and poor nations, this economist famously wrote, once you start thinking about growth, it's hard to think about anything else. A Nobel winner who is usually linked with the theory of rational expectations, he is known as one of the stalwarts of the Chicago School of Economics. Initially a history major, he even started a PhD in history at Berkeley before discovering the joys of the dismal science. Who is he?
Pass.
Pass it, Jay.
Pass.
Movin?
I'll say Galbraith.
Not that. Pravin?
Give me a few seconds.
Okay.
Rational expectations is
Answer,
two
please.
guesses. I'll say Lucas.
You are correct. It is Robert Lucas. Puts you at
Wow.
19. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure we'll get to see a 20 now. Question for Shubham. Speaking of rogue CEOs, Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested last year and extradited to the US on charges of fraud and money laundering. Not only did he bring down his crypto exchange firm FTX, but he also discredited a relatively recent idea in philanthropy, of which he was a loud advocate. It can be crudely described as get rich first, then give away your money. Pioneered by Peter Singer and William McCaskill, what two-word term describes this concept?
Pass.
Jing?
Effective altruism.
Is absolutely right. It is effective altruism. Great answer.
Didn't know this.
Okay, last two questions for Movin. Direct questions for Movin. 1 year before Piketty's Capital, another book called Capital came out. This panoramic work of fiction was set in the middle of the financial crisis and dealt with inequality, immigration, extremism, and insane property prices in London. The title was a clever pun on both the novel setting and the economic concerns at its heart. Who was the author? A prolific writer from the London Review of Books, previously known for his award-winning novel, The Debt to Pleasure.
I have no idea. So I say Neil Ferguson.
Not that, Shubham?
Pass.
Jing?
Pass.
Pravin?
Pass.
This is somebody named John Lanchester.
Okay, no idea.
Question for Movin. In the early 1990s, Italy was rocked by a series of bribery and corruption scandals that reached the highest ranks of business and politics. At one point, more than half of the MPs in parliament were under investigation, and several politicians and industry leaders committed suicide. The system of kickbacks for public works came to be known as Bribesville or Kickback City. These are fairly accurate translations of the popular Italian name for the scandal. What was it? In seconds.
Pass. Pass.
Passes to Shubham.
Pass.
Pass to Jing.
Pass.
Pass to Pravin.
Something villa. No, something police. I don't know.
Are you attempting?
No, wrong. Give me a wrong. That's fine.
Okay. This is you got the poly right. It is tangento poly. Tangento is kickback and poly is kissing.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, last two directs of the quiz. Hoping to see A20. Let us see. First question for Pravin. The theologian John Mackay wrote, with the gold of the colonies, Philip II of Spain built himself a tomb. The pyramid of this Spanish pharaoh is the sepulchre of a great illusion. The tomb that Mackay refers to is a lavish palace outside Madrid that the king built at an enormous cost. Taking 21 years to construct, it is the largest Renaissance building in the world. Like the silver mines of Potosi that made it possible, it is also a UNESCO site. What is its name?
Oh, Spain. Oh, shit. What is our building called?
An answer?
Okay, so I don't know. I'll say Schönbrunn, but that's in Vienna.
Not that, Shubham?
Pass.
Jing?
Pass.
Movin?
Escorial?
Escorial is what it's called. Well done.
Yeah,
Oh.
nice. Where is this? Madrid?
Don't
He's
know.
saying just outside Madrid, no?
Okay, it's already saying that. Okay.
Can't really tell. Okay, last two
nice.
questions for Pravin. So this is the last question.
Last
of
one,
the,
I think.
of the question, Pravin. Don't let me down, Pravin. Please. Question for Pravin. A dreary, desolate, and indeed quite abject and distressing science, what we might call the dismal science. It is often thought that the phrase dismal science was coined to describe the pessimistic theories of Thomas Malthus. But the phrase first appeared in an 1849 essay in which the author was arguing in favor of reintroducing slavery in order to restore productivity to the West Indies. Who first described economics with this unflattering phrase?
Thomas Carlyle.
Thomas Carlyle is right, puts you on 20 points and wins the quiz quite
Nice.
comfortably. It's 7 out of 16 owns also. Second place is Movin at 17 points. Third place is Jing at 7, who only got 1 own but then got 6 steals, which is pretty insane. And fourth place is Shubham. Well done, folks.
Well done.
Well
Thank you.
done. Thank you for
Very
Very
joining,
nice
Harman.
quiz. Thank you, everybody.
Bye,
you.
bye, bye.
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 Bye.